A lot of the time I get asked to review more springers or brake barrels. Then again I get asked to review more budget stuff. So pay attention you lot. Today it's budget springer time. And it's a little cracker. Hello and welcome to AAR on Air. Today it's the turn of the Hatsan 900X. Now I do try to balance most things off here on AAR, it must be said, but there are probably more PCPs being reviewed than springers. That's simply down to the fact that there are more PCPs being produced and being bought than springers. And the majority of people do shoot PCPs these days. But that doesn't mean everyone does. So, time to redress the balance a little today with this sub £100 rifle from Hatsan. Yes, you heard right, sub £100. Blimey. Can a sub £100 rifle really be any good? Well, stick with me and we'll put it to the test and check out what you get, how it shoots, and if it's any good at all or one of those cheap items you grow to regret buying. As always, first of all, it's the walk around. Let's take a closer look. It is 1120mm, so 112 centimetres long, which is around 44 inches in old money. It isn't overly heavy, and when it's unscoped, you have the usual choice of 177 or 22 calibers, all of course in single shot. The barrel is 460mm long or a little over 18 inches and has a pre-fitted and fixed silencer or moderator or whatever you prefer to call it. Whilst we're out at the front, let's also highlight the red fibre optic open sight sat on the top of that silencer, which, whilst plastic, does feel strong and rigid and up to the job, which of course means it's doubling up as a grip to the extended leverage to cock the rifle. It does keep the noise to an acceptable level, but of course when using springers, a lot of the noise comes from the mechanism rather than the air propelling the pellet down range. Moving back, we come to the rear sights, which are also fibre optic to aid visibility, and these are fully adjustable for both windage and elevation. These sights give you the ability to use this as a very low cost shooting option if you don't want to go to the expense of dropping a scope onto the dovetail rings on the top of this budget belter. There are several points on here to stop scope creep, which is often a problem when using scopes on springers. Behind this is the safety, which is quoted as being manual as well as automatic. Basically, it drops into safe each time you cock the gun, and it still allows you to drop it back into safe if you decide against taking the shot. Naturally, you don't want to leave this left cock and not being shot for any prolonged periods of time. It doesn't do it any good at all. From here, it's down to the stock, which is wood, real wood. It looks like beech, which on such a low-cost gun is excellent. And I must say the quality of the finish is really excellent. No nasty rough edges, as is often the case on these ultra budget guns. The grip is checkered and I must say very comfortable. The cheek piece is classed as Monte Carlo, but I've been to Monte Carlo and I don't remember seeing any of these there. Monte Carlo or not, it's ambidextrous and really quite comfortable in use. Added to which it has a really well finished quality rubberized butt pad to take some of that springer kick. Finally, we have the trigger, which is adjustable for pull and travel, if you feel the need to play around with it, that is. This is finished off in a plastic trigger guard which has all the cutouts in the right places to make those adjustments you may want to do. Blimey, we haven't even shot this yet and it feels like the bargain of the week in its build, finish and equipment levels alone. What about power levels then? Well, it's all mechanical and old school, with no regulators or such PCP trickery. Over to the chronograph then to see what it's made of, shall we? The first thing to point out is that springers do need a little time to settle down, and I was dropping this over the chronograph straight out of the box. But it did seem to settle down after a handful of shots, and using the heavier 10.34 grain JSPs, it settled at around 695 feet per second, which is around 11.1 foot-pounds or 15.04 joules. Which is pretty good and should be more than enough for a spot of target work and a spot of pest control on a budget. The only thing left to do now is to find out if any barn doors should be worried or not. Using open sights isn't really going to do this low-cost pellet lobber justice, so it's on with a scope to test it. I did have a Hawk fast mount lying around that should do the trick. So, with that fitted, it was out into the field to test it. Out at the usual 40 metres. This is likely to be as much of a test of me as it is a test of the 900X. Well, here goes. I don't know what people expect for £100, but I really didn't expect this level of refinement and usability. It's throwaway cost, but a look after and keep item. I really would be hard pushed to find fault with this. I realise this isn't a Viroc, but £100? If you want more than this for your £100, then you must have really very high expectations in life and not want to pay for anything. Or you're just one of those individuals who are never satisfied, even if they're given something. Bargain of the week? I would say so. And of course, it's a great way of getting the kids into the sport for around the cost of an Xbox game. And this is definitely going to get them active, outdoors and away from the square box of mind-melting electronics in the corner of their room. A win all round, if you ask me. Even though Springers are not my go-to rifle, I have enjoyed this one. Hopefully you have too. If you have, then please give us the old thumbs up, subscribe, share, click the old alarm bell and follow us on this little lot. Merch, as always, is available from the website, thanks to Mrs. AAR. And as always, a big thank you to Vector Air for getting hold of this 900X for me to review. They do seem to keep me on my toes with different stuff. And they've got a load more for me to review lined up as well. Above all, thank you to you guys for taking the time to watch. Stay safe and shoot safe, and hopefully we can all meet up again next week. See you then. Bye for now. And the majority of people do shoot PCPs these days, but There's a lot of piss, which is around 11.1 foot-pounds or 15.08 ting.